Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to this video titled Distance and Speed, and I'd like for you to get out your Math and Focus book and turn to page 261. Get out your math journal, pencil, and also calculator. As you can see, the goal for this video is to be able to solve problems involving constant speed, and we're going to look at a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different problems in order to figure this out. So let's take a look at the first part. So we're going to read, interpret, and write speed. Okay, so we're going to be given a scenario and we got to figure out what it's actually saying. And I want you to turn your books to page 262, and we're going to look at the try section here, and we're going to look at a couple of these. So we can see that Kalia cycles 9 kilometers in 1 hour. Okay, so figuring out her speed is 9 kilometers per hour. So this is very basic, not too difficult. Don't make it any more difficult than what it is. This is just making sure you understand how to read the types of speeds and what it's talking about. So Wyatt runs 200 meters in 1 minute. His speed is 200 meters per minute there. We can see these are unit rates, okay, because it is 9 kilometers per hour. You remember that slash means per. 200 meters per minute. Okay, so if it were 200 meters for every 5 minutes, that's not a unit rate, that's just a rate. But this is a unit rate because it deals with one unit, okay, comparing 200 meters to the one quantity of 1 minute here. So that's how you practice read and interpret writing and writing speed. So let's take a look at some other problems that deal with distance and speed and time. Now let's turn your books over to page 263. Now you can see at the top of this it says practice finding the speed or rate of travel given the distance and time. So what we have here is a truck traveled a distance of 280 kilometers in 4 hours. Find the speed of the truck. So we're going to find it per hour, so that unit rate. So we can see 280 kilometers is 4 units here. We need to figure out how much 1 unit would actually equal. So we know that 4 hours equals 280 kilometers. In order to find how much in 1 hour, we take that 280 and we divide it by 4. And I want you to write that down, 280 divided by 4. And we can see that that gives us 70 kilometers. Okay, so 70 kilometers per hour. Okay, that would be the speed of the truck there. Okay, so another way that we could figure this out is we have the distance. Speed equals distance divided by time. All right, so what we have is we have the distance, which is 280 kilometers, divided by 4, which is the hours, and that gives us 70 kilometers per hour. Now, if you remember what we talked about with unit rates, we could solve it 280 kilometers over 4 hours equals how much per hour. Now remember, we're trying to get the hours down to 1 unit, so we're going to divide both quantities by 4. That gives you 70 kilometers per hour there. Okay, so that makes it the unit rate. So we can even see at the bottom, the speed of the truck is 70 kilometers per hour. So now let's jump over to page 264. It says find the distance given the speed and time. Okay, so we can see that Mr. Walker drives at a speed of 65 kilometers per hour. At this speed, how far does he travel in 2 hours? So what we understand is that in 1 hour, we know that Mr. Walker travels 65 kilometers. So in order to find how much in 2 hours, we just take that 65 and multiply it by 2, and that gives us 130 kilometers there. Okay, so we understand that distance equals speed times the time. Okay, if we're trying to find the distance there. So we have the speed, 65 miles an hour. How long? 2 hours. Multiply that, gives us 130 kilometers there. Now, doing the same exact thing, we know we can take the distance equals speed times time. At this speed, which is 65 miles per hour, multiply it by the 5 there, and that gives us 325 kilometers in 5 hours. So again, understanding the speed, And also figuring out the time, 5 hours there, we know the distance that can be traveled. So this one's a little different in the fact that we're not going for how many hours and then multiplying it by a certain number. So we're looking at a train, and this is on page 265. So it says a train can travel at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour. How far can the train travel in 5 minutes? So it's not 5 hours, it's in minutes. So we're going from hours to minutes. So this is going to be a little bit different. So let's just take a look at this one. So we know that 5 minutes equals 1/12 of an hour. The reason why I know that, 5 out of 60, or 5 over 60, 5 minutes out of 60, is going to give me 1/12. Okay? And we know 1 hour is 120 kilometers per hour. Now what we need to do is we understand that the rate that we're trying to figure out is 1/12. Okay? And we're going to take that 120, and we're going to multiply it by the 1/12. That represents the 5 minutes. So the 120 times 1/12 is going to give us 10 kilometers in 5 minutes there. Now, another method that you could use with this is we could take the speed, 120 kilometers per hour, and we have the time, 5 minutes, and that's going to give me 1/12 of an hour there. Now what we have here is distance equals speed times time. Okay, so we have the distance is 120. And then we have the time, 1/12. And that's going to give us 10 kilometers there. So we can see that the train can travel 10 kilometers in 5 minutes. So basically what we did, we just took the total distance in an hour, and then we can multiply that by the 1/12, which is represented in the 5 minutes there, and that gave us 10 kilometers in 5 minutes.